to the environment. So that is why Yama Niyamas become very important. By practicing Yama Niyama, you will be able to, as I told you, Mitahara, Mitabhashana, all those things are going to help me so that I don't ingest a lot of unnecessary rajas and tamas from the outside world. Does it make? So this system, you know, if you want to look at this system, it is very well prepared system, very well prepared system. Yama Niyamas are there to reduce the intake of rajas from the outside world. Asanas are there to reduce your rajas, the systemic rajas. Pranayama is there to reduce your systemic tamas. Now you are in a condition to, then they don't stop with that. Now you use your mind. By engaging your mind in a sattvic activity. What is that sattvic activity? It is called meditation. Right, let us go through this. I'll take. Now, how to do asanas? Of course, you know, we don't have the time to go into that. Asanas are supposed to be done in a particular way. Asanas are not exactly what you call physical workout. It is not workout. There are certain parameters. You know, sthiratva, sukhatva, prayatana shaitya, ananta. A lot of things are said. How to practice asana? It is not any physical activity. If it is any physical activity, I can, you know, what you call, I can do gym work, I can, you know, weightlifting I can do. They are not considered to be what you call, considered to be reduce rajas the way they are talking about. Now, after now I mean, let me repeat one more time. I have taken care to see that I am not going to take any rajas and tamas from the outside world by practicing, by following Yama Niyamas. Then I have done a systematic way of doing yoga, asana, so that I will be able to reduce the rajoguna from my system. Thirdly, I did what you call pranayama, so that, you know, don't, you know, I'm sorry I'm repeating, but this is all what is there to it. Then I do what you call pranayama, so that I can reduce the tamas from my system, and now I can sit down and meditate. Why do you want to meditate? You want to meditate because the ultimate goal requires that you must be able to go into samadhi. Samadhi is a mental capability. You know, the mind is capable of going to samadhi. I don't have it now. I want to achieve this. That is done by meditation. Now, according to Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, meditation is not a one straightforward. It has got 3 steps. Meditation, according to the Yoga Sutras, has got 3 steps. The first step is, all right. Normally, do I have time?
Sure. Yes.
Hey, go for it.
Yes. Your water's right there.
Yes. Now, when I start, normally, as I told you, when my mind is kind of rajasic, I got a very limited span of concentration. You know, my span of concentration is very, very small. I start thinking about something. The way, you know, our mind functions, you start thinking about you speak to somebody over the phone, and then somebody says something which is pleasant or unpleasant, and that you start, you know, dwelling on it for a short period of time. That leads to another thought. That leads to another thought. That leads to another thought. So we call this train of thoughts. One thought leads to another thought. The second thought leads to the third thought. Third one leads to the fourth thought. The fourth will have no connection whatsoever with the first. That's how it goes on. They call this train of thought. This is what happens when my mind is rajasic. My mind is rajasic, and all of us could experience that. All of us experience this. You know, our mind keeps on, you know, roaming around. Sometimes we don't even remember why we started the whole thing. Now, but you know, in yoga, they want to break this habit. You know, this is a habit. Nothing, you know, once the mind gets used to this way of thinking, that's how I started thinking when I was 5 years old. I did nothing about it. So over a period of time, now that's why my mind continues to function. It operates in the same group. They call it samskara. Now they want the Patanjali or the yogis to say that this should be broken because your mind is also capable of focusing for a long period of time. You can ask your mind to remain focused on an object for a long period of time. Why do you want to focus on the same object? Because some of the subtle things they are talking about, the nature of your own self, the consciousness within you, all those things they are talking about, they are very vague to start with. But if I want to directly experience this, they call yogica pratyaksha. I want to experience the whole thing. Then this is not possible with a wandering mind. If the mind is going to be wandering like this, I have absolutely no chance of reaching this. So I got to slowly train my mind My mind has the capacity, my chitta has the particular capacity. Only thing is, I have not used it, I have not, do I have the capacity to speak Spanish?
Yes.
Yes, I have the capacity to speak, but why is it I don't speak? Because I didn't give an opportunity for the mind to learn Spanish. Likewise, the mind is capable of, thinking on this line. It can operate in this particular way, but I have never given an opportunity to. The yogis are said, okay, this is what you should do. So what do? You sit down, after you do practice your asana, pranayama, very diligently follow your yama niyamas, then your mind is in a very sattvic condition. Then you take an object. It can be very, very subtle, it can be very simple object. You don't have to make a very complicated object. Because Patanjali says that you must first of all get the capacity to remain focused, So you take an object, maybe a mantra or a chakra in your own body, or get an icon in front of you, or just a flame, anything. Patanjali doesn't specify what you should focus on. And then you focus upon that. If it is a mantra, close your eyes, repeat the mantra over and over again. Say it's there for truth. What does it do? What does it do? It is called ekagrata. What I am trying to do is, instead of allowing the mind to go on switching from one object to other continuously, step by step, I am now trying to have one fixed object. So even if my mind, runs away, I am able to bring it back to the same object. Very simple. Do you see what I am trying to say? It's a very simple procedure. I have the tendency to allow my mind to keep on wandering. My mind also has the capacity to remain focused on an object, but I am not able to do that. I have to start somewhere. So what do? Don't worry too much about what object you want to take. If you like Shivalinga, or take Shivalinga, or if you want to take any other, if you want to take a mantra, you can take it, or you can. Only thing is, they say that it should be uplifting. It should not be making you. It should not make you go back. Of course, I want to contemplate upon. What do you want to contemplate? I want to contemplate upon making a girlfriend. That is not. Of course, that's not acceptable. It should be completely. It should be. I'm sorry. I'm just taking an example. If you want to do that, please go ahead. So now what do? I take a particular object. The object can be what do you call it? A lamp, a lamp. What do you call it? Candle, or a deepa, and then try to focus our attention on the middle of the eyebrow or your heart, whatever. You learn it from a teacher. You need a teacher, somebody who is. Or if you are used to chakra meditation, you can focus your attention on a particular chakra. Or if you are used to a mantra meditation, take a mantra and then keep on repeating it. So, number of opportunities, number of choices are there. You choose any one and then start working on it. So, you say, I'm going to meditate for about 15 minutes. You take a mantra, close your eyes, keep on repeating the mantra. For instance, I want to say, okay, Om Namah Shivaya or Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. I chant Om Hrim Namah Shivaya, Om Hrim Namah Shivaya, Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. I keep on chanting, and suddenly, because I am not used to this, if I am used to this, it's okay. If I am not used to what, then after say about half a dozen times, suddenly you will find that mind has wandered, and then you will know that. And then after a few seconds, you will suddenly remember, oh yes, I am sitting down and meditating, but I am thinking of something else. Don't get, this is what you should expect, because you have never allowed your mind to remain focused. So what do? You bring the mind back to the same object. You bring the mind, again it goes away, again bring your mind to the same object. If you keep on doing it, now what is it you are doing? Simple. Your mind, instead of allowing the mind to keep on going from object to object without any control whatsoever, it is not at all under leash. It keeps on shifting from object to object. It is very, very unpleasant. The mind is going to be very unhappy after this activity. Mind doesn't want it, but the mind has been allowed to do this. It doesn't know what to do. Now they say, all right, bring your mind back to the same object repeatedly for about 15 minutes. Okay, at the end of the 15 minutes, you open your eyes, don't talk to your teacher, don't allow the teacher to come and interfere when you are meditating. Sometimes, the teacher keeps on telling, oh, come on, meditate on this, or think about this, in a very, very grave voice, Don't allow anyone to, once you start your meditation, you are on your own. Because already there are enough distractions. Why do you want your guru to come and distract you? Let the guru tell you whatever you have to do. Let him or her give all the instructions before you start your meditation. Now, Manatalave Aham Guru. My mind is my own guru. So at the end of your meditation for 15 minutes or so, that you decide with your guru, I am going to meditate for 15 minutes. Then you just don't walk away, just close your eyes and then review your meditation process. What happened during those 15 minutes, you will find that there were a number of extraneous thoughts coming in. After about 5-10 seconds or so, the mind, went for a ride, mind had been going all over the place, and then you suddenly realize that you are meditating, brought the mind back. And, all right, at the end of the 15 minutes or so, don't lose heart. You have an idea about the number of distractions, was it too often, and then what was the span of your distraction? Did the mind wander for a longer and longer period of time, You just make a mental note, don't give up, come back, practice your asanas and pranayama, sit down and take the same object, don't try to change your mantra. Because the first day the mantra, I know it was not, didn't work, so you take another mantra from, there are a number of Swamijis who come from India, you go there and then they give you a mantra. You pay them $50, they give you a mantra. They don't tell you what it means. Then you try to, chant it for a day or two. Then you throw it away and then wait for the next Swamiji to come. And then it doesn't help. It doesn't take you anywhere. You got to stick to your mantra or stick to your practice for a while. Because for that particular mantra or to help you, you got to stick to it. Then next day you practice. Third day you practice, and then after about a week or so, you also start finding out there are two things that could happen when you sit down and meditate like this. When you sit down and meditate like this, what happens? After a period of time, if you find that the mind gets distracted too often, then you could see that you have not taken care of your rajas, you have not taken care of how to, reduce your rajas. So it may be due to the rajas that you are taking from the outside world. Maybe you are again continuing to go to Burger King or taking a lot of Rajasic things from the outside world, or meeting with Rajasic people, all your mind is getting disturbed by all the Rajasic thoughts. Or on the other hand, you may be taking things which are tamasic, either from the outside world. Or then you will be able to, okay, if I have been very careful, I am not, then you will find that probably your own practice, the preparations are not good. What are the preparations?
Yoga,
Asana and pranayama. Okay, then I will try to, supposing whenever I sit down and meditate, after about 5 minutes to 10 minutes, during that 5-minute period, you don't know what happened, and then sometimes you think you went to samadhi, but actually you went to have a little nap. that is due to tamas. That is due to tamas, and at the end of it, naturally you will feel better. If you had a nap, you will feel good, and it will look divine. But then, but then the whole thing is you got to be focused on the same object. Have you been focusing on the same object? If you have not been focusing on the same object, if the mind wanders somewhere else, that means either rajas has taken over or tamas has taken over, and depending upon that, you alter your practice. Probably you need more asana practice. Probably you need more pranayama practice, or probably you are probably still allowing a lot of the outside influence take place. These corrective measures you can take. Maybe you can talk to your teacher, and then the teacher will agree with you, and then you can. Then you continue to practice like this for a period of time, and once you have done all the preparations well, just like you go for an exam with a well prepared, you are bound to succeed, isn't it? You are bound to succeed in your exam. Likewise, if you prepare yourself well and then do your meditation, you are bound to succeed. After some time, what happens? The span of distraction starts coming down. The frequency of your distraction also starts coming down, and then you are able to remain with the object for a longer and longer period of time. So instead of 20%, now it is 40%, now it is 60%. It goes on increasing. Ultimately, one day, you will be able to remain with the object continuously for the entire duration of your meditation. Now, the first transformation is supposed to have taken place. A mind which is habitually distracted has become a mind which is habitually one-pointed. You see what I mean? They call it ekagra. The earlier stage is called vikshipta, this stage is called ekagra. None of us have got the ekagra mind. We don't have the ekagra mind because we never allow the mind to remain. Sometimes you go into, sometimes when you do your work for about 10-15 minutes or so, you are able to remain focused. Once in a while when you want to write a, stinker. Want to write a strong letter to your boss or something, that's the only time you concentrate. Otherwise the mind doesn't concentrate. So this is not according to yoga. Here what we are trying to do is we wanted to bring up, the mind has this capacity. Only thing is I want to draw that capacity from my mind so that it becomes it becomes my nature. So I practice like this, and so I am able to then, after I am able to get my mind focus on the object for a period of time, then what I do, I should stop with that. I keep on doing it. Why should I do it? I must develop the samskaras. I must strengthen my samskaras. If I do it one day and then I'm fine, okay, I've reached the goal. No, you got to stay there. So you keep on practicing on a regular basis. Now that you have reached the goal, you will have more enthusiasm. You will sit down and then keep on meditating. And then they say after some time, one day, you will even forget yourself looking at the object. So from the time you start, and then by the time you end, you not only will be looking at the same object or meditating on the same object, you will even forget yourself. And that stage is reached, they call it samadhi. Okay? They call it a samadhi. Don't look impressed. So these are the transformations. These are the transformations, they call it dharma parinama. Changes take place everywhere. Changes take place everywhere. Changes take place due to time. Changes take place due to change due to circumstances. Changes that are brought about within yourself are supposed to be done by yoga. There are changes that can be brought about. My own mind is capable. My mind has got that particular capability. So you start with a very simple object, take a mantra, and then for the entire duration. In fact, the quality of your meditation is supposed to be governed by whether you are focusing only on the sound. Supposing you take a mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya has got a meaning. Om Namah Shivaya has an object. I can even have an icon in front of me. So my mind can juggle with all the three when you are meditating. Supposing my mind is able to remain only with the sound, even without thinking about the object or what it conveys, then my concentration is even more refined. I am able to even reduce the variations within the object. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. So these are some of the things the Yoga Sutras talk about. So after you practice your meditation like this, then you are able to get into samadhi. Once you are able to get into samadhi, they say that you are become, over a period of time, a person who used to be a highly rajasic or a tamasic person becomes a sattvic person. This transformation is brought about only by yoga. There is no other method by which you can do that. The technique that is available is dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Dharana is the first stage where you try to bring your mind to the same object repeatedly. Then dhyana is the stage where the mind is going to merge with the object continuously, is going to be ekagrata. Then finally we get to a stage called samadhi. Once I get that samadhi capability, I am on par with the Bond Yogi. I am on par with the Bond Yogi. Whatever the Bond Yogi can do, I am also able to do. So these are all described in the Yoga Sutra. So the main purpose of what you call the Ashtanga Yoga, at least the early portion, is to prepare us so that we can meditate. Now, if I try to meditate, of course, meditation is popular, asanas are popular, but they are not they got to be married. They got to be married. I cannot do meditation without asana pranayama practice. If I do asana pranayama practice and don't meditate, I am wasting all the effort that I have put in. I have put in a lot of effort. I take 2 hours practicing asanas. I do spend a lot of time, money. And then people at home, they don't like you going to the studio so often. You have to do a lot of sacrifices to be able to do your asanas. Okay, but then if you do asana and then you don't do pranayama, you are doing only one part of it. One part of it. That's not correct. So in the olden days, when in India, what they do is they didn't want because the way we go about in our lives. There is more opportunity for the mind to slip into the the vikshipta state, where the mind keeps on going after different objects with a very, very short short span of concentration. So they said that the children should not lose it. So every day in the morning, at noon and the night, they are supposed to do a procedure called sandhya, sun salutation. They use normally the Gayatri mantra. So what do? They will sit down in a yogic posture, asana, they have got to sit in a posture. Once they sit in a posture, then they do pranayama 10 times, 10 times pranayama with the mantra. Then afterward they are supposed to meditate upon, use the Gayatri mantra, chant the Gayatri mantra 108 times. It may take about 15 minutes. Pranayama may take another 10 minutes. All of them put together, it will be half an hour. Of course, they are supposed to do 3 times a day, but then even if they do once a day, what happens? every day you are, you are, what do you call, you are giving and then they made it, what do you call, mandatory. You have to do it. You have to do it. The children, when they are initiated into the Vedic studies at the age of 5 or 7, they still have to do it. They will do this, they will do their pranayama, then they will chant the Gayatri mantra. For about, the whole thing will take about half an hour or so. So every day you bring the mind for a focus. You bring the mind to focus on Gayatri mantra. 108 times every day you do. So you don't lose this capacity. You don't lose that, what do you call, or you don't allow the ekagrata capacity of the mind to become suppressed. You have to bring it. So that made, so people when they get older, they still have this, they are able to maintain this. They are able to, what do you call, do some either they may probably go along the path of Raja Yoga, but if they are Bhakti Yogis, even Bhakti Yogis need to concentrate. Otherwise it doesn't work. There's no point in saying that I got a lot of Bhakti. The Lord does not, you have got to go through the process. Whether you are a Bhakti Yogi, a Raja Yogi, or a Jnana Yogi, because Jnana Yoga requires that you got to concentrate on the ultimate truth they are talking about. Likewise, you are Bhakti Yogi, you got to fix your attention on the chosen deity. You got to keep your attention. Even that requires a sattvic mind. Whether you are a Bhakti Yogi, Jnana Yogi, or what you call Raja Yogi, or even a Hatha Yogi, you need a mind which can concentrate. And the yoga is one particular subject in which it has gone, systematically, how to change the way my mind functions into mind, how it should be functioning, so that I'll be able to achieve the ultimate goal. I'm done. Any questions? What time?
7:15, 14.
Oh, not bad. For an hour, good. Any questions?
Questions?
Yes, sir.
When I wake up in the morning, I have a very fuzzy head. If I try to do asanas or movements, I'm not concentrating on it. It's going back and forth, whatever. Is that okay to be doing asanas with a very fuzzy
Yeah, I think,
concentration?
I think I mentioned to you, there are two things. One is asana pranayama practice. The other thing is what the environment does to us. So if my mind is going to be completely, distracted by the outside with lots of these problems, so maybe I have to not only take care of my asana pranayama practice, I may have to rearrange my, that also becomes necessary. Right? That's why they have used the word, the terms yama and niyama. They are very, very, that's the only way it will work. I cannot merely practice asanas and expect everything else to, the asana should take care of everything else.
What about if you took like tulsi tea or some kind of a sattvic herb?
Yeah, maybe it will help, right? I don't have any, what I'm trying to say is, you need to sit down and then find out, supposing I have lots of things going on in my mind, I could sleep properly the previous night. The next morning my mind is going to be, not very conducive for yoga practice. Okay, so I got to prepare myself, even before I start my asanas, I got to take care of the outside world, or I got to see that the outside world is not going to bother me, by practicing yama niyama, by observing. One of the things they say is every time when you go to bed, when you go to sleep, you just say, all right, I have taken to yoga and I am supposed to follow yama niyamas. Did I violate any of the yama niyamas? Like ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, parigraha, shaucha, santosha, tapas, swadhyaya, ishvara pranidhana. Okay, it's a fairly a complete system. You got to take care of all parts of the system. Yes, sir.
Do you do asanas first and then the pranayama, or pranayama and then asanas?
The general rule is you practice your asanas and then practice pranayama, because when you practice asanas, the rajas comes down, but then practicing asana is a physical activity that may produce its own quantum of tamas, so it is better to remove the tamas after you practice your asana. This is general rule. But on the other hand, if you be highly tamasic, when you get up in the morning and then you don't feel like sitting down and doing your asana, Maybe you do a few, suppose I didn't sleep well for the previous night. What does it indicate? When I get up in the morning, I'm going to be highly tamasic. So you may probably do a few rounds of pranayama to suppress or to reduce the tamas in my system. Then practice my asana, come back and do a little more pranayama, then proceed. Yes. A lot of things that the yoga abhyasi will have to look at. Okay, this is how I feel. A lot of, you have to be very sensitive about how I feel, how my mind is functioning, all these things. Then, we will be able to find out solutions.
You call the yama niyamas to be the safety net. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, you see, one is ahimsa, a yogi will have to practice ahimsa, otherwise if you don't practice ahimsa, you keep on fighting with other people, they are going to come back to you, you are going to spend a lot of time, your mental energy is going to be wasted. So, first thing that I got to practice ahimsa, purely from my point of view. I am practicing ahimsa for my own sake. No?
Yeah.
Then we have got satya. Satya is speaking the truth. Whatever I communicate with the outside world should be truth. If I start communicating with others with start with a lie, which has become my habit, then again it is going to take a lot of my time away. See, I am a full-time yogi. When I want to be a full-time yogi, I don't want to be unnecessarily bothered. See, isn't it? Right. So what do? All right, I communicate whatever is true, and then I try to communicate the minimal. Satya. Then asteya. Asteya is simple, straightforward. Asteya, I don't take anything that does not belong to me. If I start taking things that does not belong to me, then they are going to come to you, and then you are going for litigation. All these things are going on. Then brahmacharya. This is obvious. Brahmacharya, if you don't practice, that's going to be another distraction. Then, what do you call it? The last one, brahmacharya, aparigraha. Aparigraha is accumulation. Accumulation. The olden days, the kings used to expand their territory. That's what they are supposed to do. Okay. So, but then as a yogi, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to accumulate. Accumulation is the right thing to do for a businessman, but for a yogi, it is not. So, I have to do this. I got to keep my mind as free as possible. So, what should I do? I should try to limit the distraction from the outside world. Then Shauja, Santosha, Tapasvadhyaya, all of them put together will see to it that you are not you are not being distracted by the outside world. This is what they have. So as I mentioned to you, every night, once you decide to follow yoga, not only you must do asana, you must also do pranayama, you must also meditate, you must also practice yama-niyamas. So one way of maintaining yama-niyamas is because yama-niyamas is not something you practice, it's something you observe. So you go to bed in the night, and then when you go to bed in the night, you start thinking on these lines. Okay, did I hurt anybody, by word or deed, So if you start, reviewing your day-to-day activities from this, perspective, then you will start. Then it comes to your mind. So after a few days, you become more careful, and then habitually you will follow the yama-niyamas. It becomes a habit. Yes, sir.
Is it possible for music to become a distraction?
Music?
Yes. Say you play the piano or you listen to a lot of music. Is that possible to accumulate rajas or tamas?
Yeah. Music could be a distraction. Music could be a distraction. It could be, after some time, it could be an obsession. If I want my mind to be still, maybe, I don't know. Maybe you keep on doing your music for some more time. After some time, you can postpone your yoga for a little, until you enjoy your music. Yeah. But then keep this in back of your mind. Okay, this is not going to be the end of. After some time, that's why in the olden days they had the krama sannyasa. You are young, you study, the mid part of the life, you have a family, enjoy life, and then have something when you get older. So have a plan for not exactly old age. After you find that all the things that you are after are not really very important, then once that comes to your mind, then you can start.
I feel that I see that these things aren't important, and I'm young, I'm 21.
Right.
So I have this temptation to dive into the outside world.
Yes.
But at the same time, I know that there's the inside world, the yoga, the yogi world,
Yeah.
and it's confusing.
No, you can moderate this. You moderate this. You don't get what you call involved. What do you say? Headlong into outside activities. You try to have some restraint. In fact, all the old texts say that you don't try to completely dissociate yourself from the outside. Only the sannyasins, what do you call the renunciates. That you are not a renunciate. I am not a renunciate. But the only thing is you can be choosy about what you try to do with your outside world. Yeah. But keep this in mind, because I have another alternative to start thinking about working. You got interested in yoga, all right. Just spend more time thinking about it. Whenever you have spare time, study them, see whether it appeals to you. Don't give up anything. Don't give. But then don't go what do you call it, headlong and try to get involved. Yes.
Rajas, Raja Yoga.
Yes.
Is there a relationship in that Raja to the Guna?
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because both of them are derived from the same root. Raja. In the term Raja Yoga, the Raja comes from the root Rajra Deeptau. Rajra Deeptau. Deepti means to throw light on. So Raja Yoga means a yoga which throws light on your own, the true nature of your own self. So that is what is the meaning of Raja Yoga. Rajas is a term which is associated with energy. Rajas is a term associated with energy.
Okay.
So both are not the same. And many people translate Raja Yoga as Raja Yoga, what you call the royal yoga. But then the word Raja, the king, is supposed to be one Rajasic, is highly Rajasic. There's one interpretation. Another interpretation is Raja is the king. He is like a what you call a beacon light for the entire all the subjects. So Raja also could mean this. But in Raja Yoga, the meaning of the word Raja is to throw light on whatever you are not aware of now.
Okay. Thank you.
Are these sadhus yogis, or they just, the sadhus in India, when I go there, are they yogis or they're not yogis?
No, some of them are, some of them are not. It is very difficult to find from the outside, appearances.
And what's your opinion on some of them use marijuana before, or after? And then even here, some people they use marijuana before practice. What's your opinion on
There
that?
are different people who say that this is yoga. I'm trying to tell you this is what the Yoga Sutras talk about. Okay, So yeah, so it is up to us to decide which yoga we want to follow.
Thank you.
Here it is very clear, very clearly that you take anything that is going to affect your mind from the outside world, you avoid it. Okay, if all the things that you are talking about, it is going to affect my mind, I should not take them. Will it make me more sattvic? Will these things? No, they are not going to make me more sattvic. So that's the end of it. Yes.
You mentioned the various objects that you can use, the mantra or
Yes.
the inner light. I tend to focus on breath. Can one use the breath when you actually go to the meditation piece? Or is
Yes. Normally we use the breath up to a point, especially when you are doing pranayama, use your breath. But then afterwards breath is moving, it's not stationary. So that's why even in pranayama you hold the breath and chant the mantra, pranayama mantra. So all movements are supposed to be stopped. So
And
breath is okay up to a point. Yeah.
And the second question, sometimes obviously when I'm doing the meditation I'm very calm, but then I get back out into the world, and when there's a lot going on I get very, very, what's the word, Raja?
Agitate.
A lot of agitation going on. So when you have that happening, do you just go back to a mantra or like in your daily activities?
No, you see, we must then try to understand why this agitation is taking place, what is the cause, it may be an unsolved problem outside, we don't know. You see some of those things, you try to solve the problem or at least tell yourself all the time meditating, I don't want this thought to come and interfere. There are, I think I told you at the end of your meditation, you've got to review the whole process and then take remedial measures. By and large, they are all ready, readily available. One reason why my meditation is not successful is I have not taken care of the, what you call the rajas and tamas coming from the outside world. If I follow yama niyama regularly for a period of time, I will be able to cut down, the intake of rajas and tamas from the outside world. That will solve most of the outside world problem. Then you practice your asana, pranayama, that will reduce. It will take time, it will take time, it takes time. Yeah, that is why you must go, yoga you must understand, you must try to take all the angas, all the elements, all the aspects of yoga. If we take one or two here and there, it is not. Many people practice asana alone, it's not going to help. Some people try to meditate alone, it is not going to help. Yoga to yoga. Some people, some people don't care about how they interact with the outside world. They try to manage everything with asana and pranayama and meditation. That also won't work. So that's why the system, the way they came about with the system, takes care of all those things. Then it becomes a straightforward and logical system.
Thank you.
Just very briefly, could you just, not about the teaching scripture, you just whenever the three classes of yogis, could you just list them again, the three classes of yogis, you mentioned that earlier when you were talking.
Yeah.
I just kind of didn't get that.
You want to know the three?
Yeah.
One is the Uttama Adhikari, the highest level of yogi, born yogi. They are able to get to the samadhi, without any training whatsoever. Okay. The entry level yogis are those, who don't do asana, everything. They just want to reduce the pain they are experiencing. So that is supposed to be brought about by Kriya Yoga. Then once you practice Kriya Yoga, you decide, okay, I am going to be a full-time yogi. Even though I can't reach the ultimate goal, I want to be a full-time yogi. Then the Ashtanga Yoga comes into play.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, then I will do one short chant and then, very short, don't take much time.
Do a lot now.
Give me a minute, I have to search for it. Just 1 minute, please. I got it. Om Apohishta-mayo bhuvastana urje dadhatana maheranaya chakshase yo vashivatamo rasastasya bhajayate hanaha ushatiriva mataraha tasma arangamamavo yasya kshayaya jinvatha apo janayatha chanaha पृथ्वी शांता साग्निना शांता सामे शांता शुचकुं शमयतु अंतरिक्षगुं शांतं तद्वायुना शांतं तन्मे शांतगुं शुचकुं शमयतु द्यौ शांता सादित्येन शांता सामे शांता शुचकुं शमयतु पृथ्वी शांतिरंतरिक्षगुं शांतिर्द्यौ शांतिर्दिशः शांतिरवांतर दिशा शांतिरग्निः शांतिर्वायुः शांतिरादित्यः शांतिश्चंद्रमा शांतिर्नक्षत्राणि शांतिरापः शांतिरोषधयः शांतिर्वनस्पतयः शांतिर्गौः शांतिरजा शांतिरश्वः शांतिः शांतिर् ब्रह्म शांतिर्ब्राह्मण शांति शांतिरेव शांति शांतिर्मे अस्तु शांतिः तयाहगुं शांत्या सर्वशांत्या मह्यं द्विपदे चतुष्पदे च शांतिं करोमि शांतिर्मे अस्तु शांतिः ओम शांति शांति शांतिः